Ahoy! How we doing, shipmates? Okay. Yog. Zoom out. Yeah, I think that'll be alright. Just move my paint a little bit. Hopefully the blur isn't too loud. I have to keep it on, because in fairness, I'm going to cook otherwise. Summer's decided to come and have another go, which we mustn't grumble about. Okay. So, here we are, part 3. Let's try and get going in this extremely hot painting room I've got. Let's turn the blower down a little bit. So hopefully you can hear me. Right. Okay. Oh, sorry. We got to wobble. Oi! I'll just bang the camera. Make sure everyone gets a good wobble vision. How are you doing? Yes, very brave in the heat. I've loaded up the wet palette with lots of water, so hopefully it'll be alright. Okay, so week 3 of our Joms Viking Paintalong. We're going to do the big guy. So let's stick him over there. We're going to kind of use that as a bit of a... It is boiling, yeah. I've got him prepped up as usual. Usual stuff. There's hardly any modelling to do on him. There was one little mould line down the edge there. A little one on the axe. This sword and axe he was already holding. So it's just a case of glue him to the base. Black Vallejo undercoat with grey Zenithal highlight. Usual stuff on the base, ready to go. Let's get cracking before I change my mind. Well, I hope you've all had a good week. Certainly, a warm one, that's for sure. So I think we'll start off by popping some of our favourite barbarian flesh. Yeah, hopefully the wet palette should stop our paint drying long enough, quick enough for me to get some on course in the brush. Nice. Yeah. Oops, the camera's in a slightly different place today, so wandering off the screen a bit. But yeah, so we're getting cracking on with the the old Viking boys here. So we've done the... I'm going to have to move the camera slightly. Are you ready to be joggled about? I might cure it if I put it like that. Sorry about that, everyone. I kept disappearing off camera, so I thought try and put it a little bit more. So is anyone else braving painting along? Yes, I use an airbrush for the undercoating. I've got a very cheap workhorse one I use. I think it was on Amazon for about 15-20 quid. It's literally the bog standard is all airbrushes, and then when I want to use it on to actually paint with, if you know what I mean, I've got a harder Steinbeck one, but the the 20 pound one I got, I'll show you. It's a right state. It's nasty and I love it, and it's kind of gets loads and loads of work. The lacquer goes through it, the undercoat goes through it, but I can't fault it. It's got a slightly bigger needle than I use for my Steinbeck. I think it's worth everyone, if they can. I think the compressors, I bought it for a cheap one from Machine Mart. They're just no tank on it, it just does what it does. Right, let's have a look at what this guy is. Right, metal, and he's got a dark cloak and a light blue shirt. Okay, we go with that. Not sure about the dark cloak, maybe. Let's go with Void Shield Blue. I give our lovely sponsors Gripping Beast a shout earlier, updating where we're going on the Joms Viking challenge. Discussing what we wanted to do next. Don't know. See what people think. We've got another point of half guard and another point of warriors to do. I'm wondering if that's going to be a little bit boring, seeing as we're already done that paint along. I don't know, what do you guys think? I'll leave it to people in the comments whether you want me to paint next Friday another Joms Viking half guard, or I can start something new. Suggested earlier was some of the... I've been playing around with the plastic Arab javelin and archer's box. That's going to be another video, hopefully if I get it filmed Monday. But which led me on to looking at the Roman box. So that's one idea for the next challenge. Or I can do something like one of the front rank stuff. I think it might be front rank in fairness. Then they started talking in how many battalions do I want to paint, and I got way out of my depth really very quickly. So I just went lots. So if I do approach the front rank miniatures, it'll be as a bit of a novice, so I'll need some kindness from you guys and go on a bit of a learning curve on the I do like the Napoleonic stuff, but I really don't know an awful lot about it. I'm not a massively good reader, and so a bit of a drawback on that front. So a lot of my knowledge comes from documentaries and other gamer friends that taught me stuff. Got Osprey books. That might be quite fun. Maybe I sort of said, can I, is there like a starter army? Because they've got their Soldiers of Napoleon rules. Have a good look at that. That's been quite good this week. I had a few more followers, a few more subscribers on the channel, which is always nice. And some guys have started hooking up as well on the Facebook and Twitter page, which is awesome. This is just all gunmetal that's going on at the moment. I've painted this guy a few times for various people, and just missed a bit of said no flash. There's a little tiny bit on top of his helm. I'll just kill it off. We'll get away without any undercoat there because obviously it's metallic. Yeah, painting tartan's fun. I've done Scotch greys. I'll see what they suggest. You just want to see me get stressed painting lots of tartan tartan. It's not too bad tartan once you get the hang of it. And rather than a dark cloak, I'm gonna go for a nice. I should go for green or red. I'll let the next comment decide. Green, the one that's got a dark cloak, or we can give him a green cloak or a red cloak. Sorry, I was a bit dry then. Let's take another swig. While you're deciding on that, let's just drop a bit of our Crusader skin. Yeah, I was comparing the Crusader skin with their actual flesh tone earlier, and the flesh tone is a hell of a lot lighter. So, been up to any painting this week, guys? Let us know in the comments. Set that down. And we're going to grab our secret weapon. Burnt umber airbrush paint. And for Leo, I'm just going to do his shoes with that. And a few other leather bits. Use this for the fur as well. Watch the back of this miniature because his hair goes right back into the I suppose it's like a ruff, I suppose. It's like a top of his cloak, isn't it? You know what I'm saying. Just don't paint his hair brown. So we're gonna make this one a blondie. There we go. Tartan cloak. No, I don't think that. I think you're pushing your luck on that one on a Joms Viking. We do some freehand patterning on it if you like. do the part of his scabbard. That pouch brown. Every time I paint the pics, I do this like a primitive, I call it primitive tartan, so it's like not a full tartan, just like the odd line that looks like it's going to turn into tartan. I did the same with the Irish, some of the Irish guys as well. All the saga stuff you can really, it's all rule of cool, isn't it? I know the Warlord one I paint, there's one they do that looks a bit like a Mel Gibson fantasy character. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying. I think we can put this brown on his leg wraps as well. It's quite dark under there. Not really going to see much. Alright. Cool. I think we'll give him a nice red cloak and then we'll do some patterning on it. I'm not thinking a green cake might look good then. While we're thinking about that, I should just drop some blue wash over his shirt. I don't always use all these washes, but in these videos I find that if I'm trying to show someone how to get like a half decent looking paint job on something, it's the easiest way for me to talk it through. And I'll try and get round to doing some videos on layering and glazing and stuff like that. If I want to take it to the next level sort of thing. It's exceedingly easy to paint this. Some miniatures just a real nice, easy guys to paint. You see how quickly all these Joms Vikings have come together. You can really, hats off to the sculptor, you know what I mean? It's just, they're just right. They're just really easy to make them look good, because they already look good. This one was a little drop of Banshee brown. I'll sometimes use that other brown, but I just want to break it up a little bit. So next we will the Banshee brown. Where's it gone? I can't find the one I was looking for. Perhaps it was that one. Let's have a look. Perhaps it was Troll Claw. Nope, I don't think it was. use one of the yellow paints and tone it down a bit. Fire lizard. I thought the heat is making these pots really fire the paint out. So a little bit of pressure's built up in there. Okay, so I'm just gonna hit his beard and mustache with this fire lizard, which is quite a it's a brighter yellow than I'd usually go for. I usually use the stuff that I've done on the handle of that axe and then just highlight it up. But I thought I'd just do it differently tonight. And what I'll do is I'll tone this yellow down in a minute. Cool, blimey, it's getting warmer and warmer in here. I think running the PC and stuff in here is really kind of warm. But hey ho. I'm just thinning it out a little bit with our dip. Your brain's cooking today on the this heat. I'm not as chatty as I usually am, so if you guys want to talk amongst yourselves in that chat room, I'll join in. There we go. So it's quite bright at the moment. Yes, absolutely 100%. When I was talking about doing the Joms Viking, I've actually got a Pagan Rest warband, and that's why they just bang together. I think they're the two kind of sets of miniatures that are closest to what I call that sort of fancy Viking, as it were. I like the ordinary Vikings, but they get a situation, I suppose they've got to make them look different, otherwise it's very hard to play Saga. You know? I don't know about red, I'm thinking about green. Let's show you how to get rid of a colour when you don't want it. Let's hopefully it's not dried too much. So I've just whacked a load of water on it. Scrub it about a bit. There we go. just use your brush to whip the water away. Hopefully I'm not taking too much undercoat off. No, I haven't. So that works. Some of it dried on there because obviously it's very warm tonight. So there we go. We'll swap to the green now. Oh yeah. That would be expensive. And can you imagine carrying it to a competition as well? You're a forklift truck to load. I'm playing the pagan restaurant sort of point today. Here comes the pallet now. Imagine doing a cavalry army for sword point in lead. Here comes my Parthian army. Okay, so we're so this is the angel green. I'm gonna see if I like that one better. I'm being real fussy tonight. I've decided I don't want that green either. I'm gonna go for elf green. I think the heat's got to me tonight. You have to excuse me. So elf green. Yes. Yeah, there's some right mad looking pagan rust miniatures. Love painting the Warlord. More green where that red was. Just hide it. There we go. Beautiful. But I'm happy with that. Yes. Yeah, the plastic stuff. I never used to like the plastic stuff, but it's got so much better. It kind of encourages you to use it. Okay, let's brighten up that blue. We used Void Shield last time, so where's the sky? Ah, there it is. I don't know if this one's the right blue. Nope, that's not the one I was looking for. It's all gone crazy. It's grey. Okay, what I do then is I'll grab the first blue, I'll go back to the Void Shield blue, and I'm just going to water it down a bit. And we'll make that into our... We'll highlight the Void Shield blue with Void Shield blue, because we got the ink on there. It does work ever so well. And I'm going to put some fancy stuff at the top, so it doesn't have to be just highlight the top areas. I think it's new. They bring out new ones all the time as well for the plastic range, aren't they? Which is always cool. And this is just the Games Workshop Cassandra yellow, sort of an orangey yellow ink. So that's so weird. It's very wash. So we're just going to go back over that brighter yellow. This will just darken it down a bit. Of course, the high parts will then become the highlights. So instead of free shading, today we're getting free highlights. Highlights in his hair. These Viking boys and their highlights. Okay. Let me just grab the dark tone. Drop a little drop of our mixture in there. I'm just gonna run this over the chainmail. Nice. Where it's quite thin now, it's really running into the detail well. If you don't, it makes it very dark, which is alright, because then you can build it up with like the silvers and all that sort of stuff. But I say we're looking for the best return for our time on these. There we go. Just wick a bit away out there. I like when you get good recesses like around the helms there, you can really lay the dark ink in there. Okay. Let's just do a sword scabbard. Use a bit of black so it looks different. Yes. So presumably then, the vote is to go into something different next week. I mean, Rich, I think what you're saying is to go into something different week, and unless someone else shouts out, you win. I'll try and get those Highlanders. Although I do like, I've painted, I like painting the rifles good old Sharps, boys. But that's just me being a what do you call it? Okay, so it's breastplate thingy. It's wood with red binding, so let's get some. We can use that red that we got out earlier. I knew I'd got out for some reason. Good job I didn't do that cloak red now. Boy, would I have felt silly. Was it Bob say? Happy little accident. Little tree. Happy little accidents. Save me from the tartan. Knowing how the internet is, that would be the last thing that somebody would do. Yeah, would be save me from it. There'd be more likely to be a pile on, wouldn't there? I really don't mind. I like having a go at just about anything. I mean, God, what have I painted today? This morning. Oh no, I was the day I finished that. I finished the Arabs earlier. Did you just see the I did the Mias Miniatures Chimera. He's waiting to find a home on his shelf. That bad boy. Yeah. Joms Viking for scale. You wouldn't meet that in the dark alleyway, would you? And what else have I done? Oh yeah, just earlier on I started this bad boy who's a Warhammer miniature for my son. Yeah, tartan would look good. And I've heard chimeras are scared of tartan as well. Have you done any do you paint a lot of tartan? Is tartan your thing? Well, if I don't do it next Friday, I'll do a video where I paint something that's got tartan in it, just for you. How does that sound? I can do that. Because I think Griffin Beasts were hoping I'd paint a good number of them, which might slow me down a little. But I'm not scared. I'm going to use see how the copper goes on it. Oh, that's going to be rubbish on there. Okay. I just thought I'd use the box as a painting guide because he's quite nicely painted on there. And I think people like seeing how to get the same effect on a box. So we're going for like a, this is army paint leather brown. Yes. Definitely. So I've got to do the next Griffin Beast order. So I shall put something tartany on the list. Definitely. I don't know what is that thing on the edge of his chain mold look good red as well. Well, my phone's just thrown up an update that there's a heat wave. You heard it first, yeah. Breaking news on Pirate Rich Paints. Even my faithful assistant Spike has opted for the cool refuge of downstairs in front of the big fan. It's too hot upstairs for him. That's cool. It's coming along quite nicely. Let's put some you'd have thought somebody would have delivered me a cold beer or at very least a cold cider by now. But no, there was none. I'm going to swap over from the character brush to the detail brush. And we're going to do the little, he's got like a little part of his bottom of his trousers just poking underneath those wraps. I'm just going to run that round. Nice. Oh, important safety tip there. Cheers, Rich. But I think, in fairness, it's a chance I'd be willing to take. Do enjoy living dangerously ever so often. I'm going to do his eyes with it. Using the brain matte beige, it's white enough that that sort of size you're not going to tell. Just using our Psycho brush, which I think I'm going to need a new one of. I think it's brush buying time again. They do last exceptionally well as well. So now we're looking at the Greedy Gold. Using the detail brush again. So I'm going to go for the metal bit on his sword, scabbard. I mean, because this is the man, he's got the gear. Some in his beard. Just put a little bit on there. Cross guard and pommel of his sword. He's a very rich man. I'm not going to put any more gold on the brush. I'm just going to use it like a dry highlight on the crossguard piece of his helmet. Just to like that. You can see that? I'll definitely zoom in. It's right tonight. I think my camera's hot. Okay, so next we're going to get some brown wash. I'm going to use a strong tone. Which is similar to the Agrax Earthshade, that sort of thing. Just hit anywhere where I've got that brown on that his body armour. Just pick out that. I'll just drop some onto the level that's on this. Sorry, I'm drying out a bit here. It's quite a hot lamp as well. Yes, just basically anywhere where there's any brown, I'm just gonna pop a bit on. Just strengthen some of that fur rep. That's cool. And we're gonna do the axe as well. I want to do the axe. I don't really mind if it looks a bit stainy because it just makes it look like grain. I'm going to get a little bit and just drop it around his eyes, where it's quite small sculpted eyes. I'm not going to be able to get in there with the black again. And it almost looks like there's pupils in it already, so I've just used this brown wash just kind of line round them, give a bit of definition, and I'm not going to have to go back in there with the black. So that's cool. Next, I suspect the red I used, the red I used earlier is, let's put some red wash. Just going to run that on the edge here. Running quite a bit onto there, and then hopefully just staying just in control of it. So next is our cloak. Now we fit it up with the Elven Green. So next we're going up a shade. That Venom Worms are quite close actually. I'll go up another one to Commando Green. Oh, it is just literally falling out of the pots. And go back to our character brush. I'm going to put quite a bit of water in, quite a bit of dip in that. And we're just going to run along. There's some real big folds in this cloak. I'm just going to go across the high points of this. On the edge of that where it's going to catch, and a bit at the bottom. I say because we've thinned the paint right out, it's going to show a lot from the shadow underneath. So we get some nice free shading anyway, so as long as we keep that nice and thin. Especially on that first pass. Don't hold too much in your brush and you'll be fine. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do the same again. This time we're going to tighten it up as well, so we're just going to hit right along the edge. So right down the centre of each of these folds. So just strengthening that colour up, making our highlight a little bit more extreme. So if you don't really like these really deep bark recesses, you can run a bit more of this lighter colour in there, narrow that down a bit, or even put a nice little glaze over it. But as I say, because we're going to do a bit more over the top, I'm not too worried. So next what we're going to do really is we're going to start looking at making him look all fancy like. I don't know, that red we can work with, I think. We're going to go for pure red. Cheers, Rich. I'm going to thin that down a bit. I'm just going to hit some of the edges of the bits we've put the base red on. We don't want to go completely over it, just And then those bits going across the armour. Just dab a little few highlights on there. Try and catch the top edge if you can without painting onto the wood or leather, whatever it is. There we go. Just add a little bit more depth. Okay. So our first bit of fancy pantsiness, I think that's the correct word. I'm going to get a deep blue. Let's jump out of the pot. That's crazy. Those paints are crazy hot. Okay, so we're gonna load our brush out. Let's see how good the point is. I don't think. No, point's not great on that one. Let's use our Psycho. What I'm looking to do is lay quite a nice wide on the sleeves. Yeah. So I suppose width-wise, it's kind of like a heavily loaded Psycho brush width. I'd usually, with this bit, do it with the detail brush. So I could go nice and light and make it nice and thin. But I want it quite thick. There we go. Must be one of those real long shirts. There we go. And just go back over it if you need to. And that's just a little bit thicker going around there. When you're doing freehand, even the heat's affecting the blue tack bit. Luckily, he jumped onto the painting desk, not onto the floor. Let's just knead this blue tack a minute. Yep, he's alright. Okay. Note to self. Be careful with the blue tack, it's hot. It's usually cold that does that. It's certainly not got cold. Okay, so as I was saying, oh yes, freehanding. I think that get in your head what you want to try and achieve with it, and then you got some chance of succeeding with it. So across the bottom of his cloak now, we're going to look for a nice brighter green. Mouldy clothes. Let's have a look at that one. It's a good opportunity to use paints you don't use very often as well. So let's have a look at what this looks like. Yeah, that'll work fine. So again, I want to put wide. Again, don't go on with really thick paint. When you're trying to do lines, you want your paint flow to be good off your brush. The good thing is the Psycho, you can actually, surprisingly for a small brush, you can hold quite a bit of paint in it. Don't abuse that fact and overload it, because it will end up on your miniature. Again, when you finish, just go back over, see if there's anything that needs strengthening up. This is why I said you don't have to use a load of paint, and it's always easier to go across a second time, or even a third time. Just build it out. So you can even start using the natural highlights on there, so it's not all uniform all the way across. Okay. So you have to watch these. Yeah, order the pagan rest. Ring gripping beast up, and ask Darren. See Pirate Rich maybe do it. I've not got my Pagan Rush Warlord in here. He just that'll make him laugh lots. So now we've got those bases down. Let's see. Yeah, that gold's not quite set yet. So we're gonna go and that gold again. I'm gonna down the center. How well that pick up on camera. I'll hold it for a sec. So that's why we made a double blue line on his tunic. Give us some chance of getting down the center. Again, if you need a bit of practice, what you can do is make that line a triple wide line. So if that dark line is free thin brush wide, then you've got a chance of going down the middle of the gold. Makes sense, doesn't it? Can you see that? I think you can. Just add a little bit more gold to these beard rings. We're going to do the same with the green down here, because I went wider, even wide on the clay code. I've got a even wider gold line on it. So that gold's just the same as I put out earlier. Metallics tend to form a skin over them, don't they? So you can, if you catch them quick enough, you can pop them, put a little bit of medium in there. They stay usable for even longer. But don't put them on your wet palette. No, 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 no. Because they go everywhere. Okay, so this bottom of his cloak looking fancy. I think he's really getting there now, isn't he? So move that across there. So next, where I did my bases, I use oak brown. This is the air colour, but it's exactly the same as the ordinary one. Just a little bit watery, ready for your airbrush. So I got it for a test. But I tend to water my own paints down for airbrush anyway. So not for me. They're good, but just not for me. I just grab the normal paint and go. Although they do sell them in the kind of, they're called triads, which is pretty handy. So this is quite watered down, as you can tell, but I want it watered down because I want the pumice showing through. And usually I have to get into the point where I can show you the base as well. You see that brown's really watery. Yeah, you can see how watery it is. Let's have a look at him, see if there's anything else we do. We can touch up his flesh. We didn't do that, did we? So it's, at the moment the flesh is just, it's just the barbarian flesh with the speed paint over it. So we go back in with some more barbarian flesh. Just highlight his nose, his bottom lip, his cheekbones. Do his knuckles, his top of his thumb. Yeah, even the paint on the wet palette's getting a little dry. But it's done well, in fairness. Certainly not the palette's fault, that's for sure. Hashtag blame Pirate Rich. That could go viral, in fairness, couldn't it? And I'm going to get in all sorts of trouble. I'll have to see if I can get a discount code at Griffin Beast. It could be blame Pirate Rich. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? I shall talk to them about if I can get a discount code for like the next projects we're going to do, like, you know, that'd be neat. I'm not gonna promise anything because they have been terribly generous about getting these miniatures to me to do these videos with. So I just thought blame Pirate Rich was kind of cool. Okay, so I've done the brown, like I usually do the highlight on the base first, but while we're waiting for it to dry, let's just run this black around the edge. Whatever colour you fancy. I just like the way on the table the black edge seems to help them stand out when you're playing, but it's purely a matter of taste. Some people do them to match in with the base so it blends in. Whatever you like. Again, it's your miniature. Don't let anyone tell you what the right and wrong way to paint it is. That's not what we're about here at Pirate Rich. So, let's see what else we've got to do. I think we're about there on that. So once the brown on the base dries, I'll dry brush it with like that fawny banshee brown, just to give it some highlight. And then I like using Gamer's Grass. This is the one I usually use at dry green. I say they stock that as well at Griffin Beast. They do everything. Well, and do everything you need, in fairness. Yeah, and then I'll just lacquer it. I think that's a decent enough job. What do you think, Rich? Well, what I'll do is I'll leave the video here. That was quite a quick one. So if you see this video, oh cheers mate, I'll get that lacquered in the morning, and I will put the stills up on the Facebook and Twitter page, and if anyone wants to contact me during the week and find out what we're doing next Friday, bank holiday Friday, isn't it? That's cool, that'd be fine. I'm sure I'll have time to do some painting. I will do a invite again like I did, and see what we do next week. Okay, and thank you for joining. Thank you for watching this if you're watching it tomorrow when it uploads, and we'll see you all again soon. Thanks for joining us. Cheers shipmates. Yeah. I'm gonna go and find that cool beer now, I think. Cheers guys.